analyst on my podcast to discuss it, that Lamar Jackson would be the most authentically black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Not Doug Williams, not Russell, not Patrick, because Patrick's mom is white and Patrick's married to a white woman. So that makes him more mainstream and less authentically black. That to me.
Wow. How did that go, Michelle, with Ryan Clark?
It was really interesting. You should watch it.
Did you debate?
All your viewers should watch it. No, it's in the bank. It's already on the YouTube channel, or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. He is there. I was trying to be very respectful, Will. I wanted to listen to him. And I thought he was great for volunteering to come on and talk about it. But in the end, he really is saying that there is a difference. And yeah, could you say that Patrick Mahomes is more mainstream than Lamar Jackson? Maybe you could say that. Does that make him less black? Or less authentically black? I think that's the question. Or Russell Wilson, and he even cited that Russell Wilson's first wife was white, even though now he's married to Ciara. And, it's just that kind of nuance to identifying who people authentically are. That should trouble people.
Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts for $15. Brother Chris, it's all about Jalen Hurts because he got a black queen forever, snow bunny never. I like Patrick Mahomes, but he's bunny hopping. I'm going with number one. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. Fly, RBG, Eagles fly. I said fly, RBG, Eagles fly.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that? I used to put it on when we played a video game as a kid. I put the snow on 100 and all that, but that was as a kid.
Black queens forever, snow bunnies never, no more babies with the beta males. Let's see if we got any more calls. You look so good on your live, Dr. Umar. I want to eat you up. At ease, my queen. At ease, my queen. What do you mean you want to eat up the prince? You look so good on your live, I want to eat you up. What do you mean by that, my beautiful African sister? This is the Black Parent Teleconference, my queen. This is the Black Parent Teleconference. Consciousness over the cookies. Politics over the punani. Revolution over the romance. Institutions over the intimacy. Business before the bedroom. In higher consciousness before the happy hour. Business before the bedroom. Consciousness before the cookie. Politics before the punani. We must stay focused, my beautiful African Atlanta, Georgia queen. We must stay focused, my beautiful African Atlanta, Georgia queen. She said, you look so good on that live, I want to eat you up. Lord have mercy. We must stay focused. Butter almond, butter pecan, sweet brown sugar, chocolate fudge, caramel, nutmeg, pistachio, cinnamon, agave. We must stay focused. Dr. Umar, I'm considering dating outside my race because the black man I was in love with does not treat me right or respect you. My dear sister, there are millions of black men all over the world. My dear sister, there are millions of black men all over the world. If you bunny hop because you always wanted to be penetrated by your slave master. If you bunny hop, my sister, if you bunny hop, I will take this watermelon upside your head. If I catch a sister bunny, you're going to catch a watermelon platter. I'm going to hit you with, listen, sister, if you go bunny hopping, you always wanted to be penetrated by the slave master. Let me see. Do you accept payments via Zelle? For consultation, but not for donation. You can pay me through Zelle for consultation, but not for donation. Let me see.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
You and this watermelon. Dre's water ice.
Yes, hold on. My wife called you. Hold on one second.
Yes, sir, King.
Hello.
Peace, Queen. You in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. Go right ahead with your question, beautiful.
Yes. So my son was recently diagnosed with moderate hearing loss in both ears. This was spring of last year. And so he had tubes put in. He has hearing aids now. He goes to a school in Fairmount, Bache Martin.
I used to be the school psychologist at Bache Martin many years ago. Continue,
Oh
Queen.
my gosh! Wow. So yes, they have a really good program for kids with hearing loss. We actually live in West Philadelphia, and so we commute. But I'm having some trouble because I've been doing a lot of research about hearing loss. This is completely random. No one in our family, had hearing loss. So this is a first. But from the research I've done with hearing loss, it's very normal that people get listening fatigue. And so my son after lunch usually is, really tired, and just has some trouble staying focused in school. So the teachers now want to do a behavioral report. He does have an IEP, but I've told him that, I don't want to do the behavioral report because I just feel that, he has the cards stacked against him, and they're trying to compare him to kindergartners, who don't have hearing loss issues. So I just wanted to know how I can, go about this, because I know it's a system, and I don't want him to, them to try to pipeline him to prison. So I'm just looking for some guidance.
Okay, he's in kindergarten.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he has an IEP. Question, is his IEP for hearing impairment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me ask you this. With his hearing impairment, and he has the hearing aids, does he still need to be in a special ed classroom? Because in my experience, a lot of the children I've worked with who had hearing impairments did not need to be in the special ed classroom, because if they sat at the front of the class with their hearing impairment, they were able to learn as well as the regular children. Is that the case with your son, or does he still struggle even with the hearing aid?
They're saying that he still struggles even with the hearing aids because he's literally learning the sounds of words, like everything for the first time. You know what I mean? He's not like most kids who, had hearing aids when they were born. You know what I mean? So it's like he's literally learning everything from the first time. So they feel that he's behind. We work with him at home daily, and we know that he can do math. He can do, his ABCs and things of that nature. But he's not ready yet for, reading. He's still comprehending.
Okay. A couple things. Number one, you might want to consider getting a tutor out of school on your own.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to leave it up to the school district of Philadelphia, because they are absolutely horrible. Mm-hmm. And as a former school district of Philadelphia psychologist, I can tell you they do the bare minimum. Now, Bache Martin historically has been better than some of the other schools in the city. But at the same time, I would not want his progress to be left up to them. So get him a tutor to help reinforce those academics. Is he meeting with the speech and language therapist at all?
Yes, sir. He does meet with them, I think, once a week.
Okay. And I'm going to say this to you as well. Most children in America who have speech and language impairment, they only qualify for about 30 to 60 minutes a week of speech. That's nothing at all. And the reason why they only give our children 30 to 60 minutes of speech is because they don't have enough speech pathologists to go around. And I can tell you, some of them speech pathologists in the school district of Philadelphia are lazy as hell. Not all of them, but many of them. They don't even give your son the 30 minutes he's supposed to get. So you want to make sure he's checking in with you when he get home to let you know he saw the speech therapist that day or that week, because if he goes too many weeks and you say, have you seen a speech therapist today? You're going to need to write a letter to the principal trying to find out why the speech therapist is not seeing your son, for the 30 or 60 minutes he's supposed to get as laid out on the IEP, because the IEP is a legal contract between you and the school district of Philadelphia. And if they're not keeping their end of the bargain up, they will owe you and your son compensatory education services. What that means is all the money that the school district of Philadelphia received to give your son speech therapy and hearing impairment support, that money will go into an escrow account so you can go and find you a real speech therapist privately and a real hearing support teacher privately to work with your son with the money that they were given but never adequately used on your son. So make sure you keep good documentation, throughout this whole process. I think you should also look and see if, and you can contact the Philadelphia City Department of Recreation. The Philadelphia Department of Recreation puts out a book. They have a booklet. It might be online now, but they have a booklet that has all of the publicly funded after school programs and summer programs in the city. I would love for your son to go into one of the hearing support camps with other children who also have hearing aids. You feel me? So he can get a couple friends who are dealing with the same thing he's dealing with, so he don't feel like an odd fish in the fishbowl. You know what I mean? And plus they'll also work with him to teach him how to better listen and learn and process and everything with his hearing aid. So we got to get him around some other hearing impaired children because he's going to need their support and they're going to need his support. But your biggest thing is to make sure they are working with your son. Also, if there's any hearing devices, in addition to what he already has, if there's any hearing devices or learning devices that you feel your son needs in order to be successful in school, bring it to the IEP team. Do not pay for it out of your pocket. The reason the special ed children get extra money is so that money could be spent on their education. The problem with black parents is we never make them spend the extra special ed money on our children. So if there's some type of device he needs, even if it's something where, because here's the thing, since he struggles with learning, he's going to need to have things written down a lot too, so he can review them in print. So for all of it, one of the things I would request at my IEP team meeting, and if there's not one coming up, you can call one whenever you want. There's no limit to how many IEP meetings you can call. But I would say that the teacher, every teacher he has, need to have a separate set of instructions that are written on paper. This way, my son doesn't have to keep asking the teacher to repeat himself or repeat herself. So I want all of my son's instructions on paper to be given to him during each subject. So in other words, these are the instructions for science. These are the instructions for language, so forth. In language he can understand as a kindergartner, right? Yeah, so that like way, pictures. Absolutely. Because what you don't want to do, to what you said earlier about the listening fatigue, you don't want a situation where the teacher talking so fast, he's not catching it because he's still trying to master the usage of his hearing hearing aid. And so he just gets so frustrated that he throws up his hands, gives up, and he stops trying to hear what she's saying. Because a lot of these teachers, I'm just going to be honest, they're not sensitive to our disabled children. They're not sensitive to black people, period, let alone the disabled. So one of the accommodations you should have on the IEP is that every set of instructions, homework, and everything, anything that children are expected to hear with their ears, your son should also have in printed word. It should be in print. Make that a requirement. Yes. Make that a requirement. And then he could take that home with you. And so now you can look at the very same printed instructions that your son got in school, and you can go over that with him at home.
That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. But
just keep a paper trail. If they start messing up on you, Queen, keep a paper trail. Send an email, send a letter, say, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I need y'all to change this. This ain't working. Keep a paper trail, because if you get to the point where the school district of Philadelphia, you feel, God forbid, but 3-4 years from now, you feel that they failed your son, then it's time for us to go to due process, take the school district of Philadelphia to due process with the state of Pennsylvania, and tell the state of Pennsylvania that the school district of Philadelphia cannot meet the needs a hearing impaired child, and I want them to pay for him to go to a private school at district expense. The law says that if a parent can prove that a school district cannot properly educate their child, you can make them pay for your child to go to a private school at public school expense.
Wow. Yeah. And I heard of a really good lawyer here that will help parents.
Absolutely. But yes, they will. Now be careful with the lawyers. Now, don't get me wrong. 80% of the time, they help you. But 20% of the time, I've seen them take deals behind the parents' back. So you got to be careful with them, because this is how it works. A special ed lawyer is like any other lawyer. So they might have 30 cases, right? And they're going to look at the cases that they're going to spend the most attention on. And then the rest of the cases, they want to try to close them out as quickly as possible. And in closing out them other cases as quickly as possible, your son could end up getting shortchanged.
Right.
So when you talking to them, if they feel like they not about to fight, if they trying to get you to settle for something that you don't want, do it yourself or find another attorney. The good thing about special ed is a parent can fight on your own without a lawyer up until a certain point. So I would say exhaust your process first before you go to them.
Definitely.
Because that will only give you more paperwork in a thicker paper trail for you to turn over to the lawyer if you do need to call on them.
That makes sense.
And to that point, good sister, and I wasn't going to let the people know this, but I don't mind. I signed up to take the LSAT in March because I might have to go back to law school to become an educational attorney. Now, don't get me wrong. This is my 5th time signing up for it, and I never take it because I never get time to study and practice. But this time, I think I'm going to take it, even if I don't get a chance to study, because something in me tells me I need to get my educational law degree.
That's right. We need you, and we're so thankful, for all that you do for us. So
I appreciate you, Queen.
Thank you for your time. God
No
bless
problem.
you.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
You too.
All right now.
Thank you.
I think that's it. So we was on the Black Parent Teleconference for 3 hours. We started at 8 o'clock. It is now 11:14. So I hope y'all learned something. I hope y'all hit the Cash App, $. In fact, this is what we going to do. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to come back on the Instagram Live. And if you make a donation to FDMG in honor of the first day of Black History Month, I'm going to shout you out. So hit your Cash Apps right now. Hit your Cash Apps and hit your PayPal, and Dr. Umar going to shout you out. FDMG does not have Zelle. FDMG does not have Apple Pay. FDMG does not have Venmo. It has to be Cash App, $FDMG School, or PayPal. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. This is your big brother, King Kong. Eastern Michigan University, 4 o'clock today. Honors College. Black History Month begins in Ypsilanti, Michigan.